So the next component that you've kind of never done before is to determine whether something is a right triangle or not. So in this particular case, you're going to be given all the sides of a right triangle. You're not going to be asked to find one. You're just going to be given all of them, and you have to prove whether it's a right triangle or not. So it's a relatively easy process, but the only mistake is to plug the numbers into the wrong places. So the first thing you want to determine is who's your longest side, because that's going to be your C. And then we take the other two shorter sides and plug those in for A and B. So once you have plugged those values in, right, then you're going to see that if they are either they're going to be equal or they're not going to be equal, right? So one of the or the other, they're either going to be equal to each other or not equal to each other. If they're equal, then it is a right triangle. You get a thumbs up, put a smiley face, right? But if they're not equal to each other, then it's not a right triangle, and that is determined using the Pythagorean theorem. So here, again, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, and we're simply going to make sure we're plugging the biggest number, in this case 52, into the C value. So that means that the 20 and the 47 are my A and my B, so 20 squared plus 47 squared equals, and then I like to put a question mark on top of it because I don't actually know if it does. So does it equal 52 squared? Okay, and if it does, then we know we have a right triangle. If it doesn't, then we know that it's not a right triangle. So again, I'm going to come back to Desmos here, and I'm just going to plug in the first box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in what's on the left-hand side of the equation, right? I'm going to plug this into box number 1, and then I'm going to plug this into box number 2. And if they're the same thing, then we've got a right triangle. If they're not, then we don't have a right triangle. So again, 20 squared plus the 47 squared, that's 2,609. And then we type 52 squared as well, and we get two different numbers, right? We have 2,609 on this side, and that does not equal 2,704 on this side. Oops, 2,704. Okay, so what's our conclusion? Our conclusion is that this is not a right triangle. It's not a right triangle. Question B, give this one a shot on your own.